Hello everyone, I am Nicole Anjanette Pontanilla from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And for today's video, we are now going to understand the Likert scale by defining first the definition and soon the examples. So let's get started. So what are Likert scale? So for us to be able to understand in a simple way, Likert scales are a way to measure how people feel or how people think about something. Likert scale was created by psychologist Francis Likert in 1932. The purpose is to help understand people's attitude in a scientific way. But how do Likert scales work? So Likert scales use survey questions with different response options. These options are usually words like strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, or strongly agree. And I know you guys are already familiar with this kind of options. So each option is assigned a number and they are arranged in a specific order from negative to positive, as you can see. So this helps show the range of opinions and how strongly people feel about the topic. But why are Likert scales important? Here's the reason. First, Likert scales provide a structured way to measure opinions. Second, they help researchers or us gather data on how people feel and think. Third, it gives clear progression from negative to positive options and make it easy to analyze and understand the results. So I think those are the three reasons why Likert scales important. Another question is why sample size matters for Likert scale survey. So the first reason is getting reliable data. So figuring out the right number of people to include in a survey using Likert scale is super important. Why? Because it helps make sure that the information collected is trustworthy and defendable. Second reason, reflecting people's opinion. So by choosing the correct sample size, us researchers can make sure that the survey results is truly represent what the people being surveyed think and feel. Third reason, ensuring accuracy. Having the right sample size means that the survey findings are more likely to be accurate and reflect the views of the larger group accurately. Now let's understand Likert scale survey results. So there are two. First is for the individual question scores. So in a survey with 3 questions and 2 respondents, the sentiment score for each question is calculated by adding up the responses and dividing by the number of respondents. Next is for the overall survey score. So the average sentiment score for the entire surveys is found by adding up the score for each questions and dividing by the total number of questions asked. Now let's have an example. So suppose we have a 5-point Likert scale survey with 3 following questions. And let's say we have responses from 2 people. Okay, so for person number 1 answer for question number 1 is strongly agree. For question number 2, disagree. For question number 3, strongly disagree. Now let's see person number 2. Person number 2 answer for question number 1 is strongly agree. For question number 2, neutral. For question number 3, let's say strongly disagree. So to calculate the sentiment score, we will follow the steps outlined. So for step 1, for questions, we're going to calculate the total number of responses for each sentiment level, and then multiply the numerical value by the number of responses. For question number 1, ang sagot sa survey ng dalawang tao ay, for question number 2, ang sagot sa survey ng dalawang tao ay, for question number 3, ang sagot sa survey ng dalawang tao ay. So for the step 2, you have to add the totals for each question and divide it by the total number of respondents. So for question number 1, ang total ay 6. For question number 2, ang total ay 5. For question number 3, ang total ay 6. So the total across all the questions, you have to add it. So 6 plus 5 plus 6 is equals to 17. And the number of respondent is 2. So the sentiment score would be 17 divided by 2 is equals to 8.5. And rounding down, the overall sentiment score for this Likert scale survey is 8. And it indicates a mildly positive sentiment. So that's it. So this example demonstrates how to calculate the Likert scale sentiment score by tallying the responses for each sentiment level and summing up the totals and dividing by the number of respondents. So this report provides a clear step-by-step process for deriving this metric. So this is the end of our report. I hope you learned something and made use of it. Thank you for watching and listening.